Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yay! Yes. Awesome.
Oh, that's always good when it works right away.
That's right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. Yeah.
Good. Listen,
Yep.
thanks. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I know you're very busy and I know you don't know me from Adam, so I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, no problem. Actually, I'm not that busy today. Until until the proof until the proofs come tonight. For a Friday and Saturday, and
Okay.
then we start to work, and so it's probably, I guess, Monday and half of most of Tuesday is our weekend,
Right,
if you
right.
will.
Gotcha. So thank you for joining us. What I really want to focus on today, you have such a storied career. We could spend hours talking, I'm sure. So what I really want to focus on is sort of the mechanics of your race calling. So the really like the machinations of how it all works, because I think for the rest of us, that is a bit of a mystery
Oh,
of how it all actually comes together
okay.
and how you make the decisions that you make and how you process those and how that kind of all comes together. If that's all right with you.
I'll do the best I can. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure you'll do
I,
great.
I really don't at this stage of the game. I'm not. I don't really think much. I just do it.
Well, that's part of it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of how it all comes together. So,
Mhm.
so my first sort of question is, like walk us through like a typical race night, and then walk us through how that journey is different on, how it's different on like a Saturday in March versus the Hambletonian. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Right.
So like, first of all, how much prep do you do in advance for a typical race card?
Well, we get the proofs on Tuesday night for both the Friday and Saturday, and then I handicap the card.
Yeah.
I put selections and comments and so on. And when I go through the races, I go through pretty much every horse just to see if any new horses have cropped up, things I remember from last week. Once you've handicapped the race and gone over every horse, that's the start of getting familiar with the card and each race.
Right.
And then and that's pretty much it until and then I put the TV formats together, what the guys are going to talk about.
Okay.
I picked the driver and trainer of the week for Friday and suggested graphics. In fact, I was just doing some stuff just now, coming up with the graduate eligibles that are coming back, horses that have made the payments and were fine. Prime prospects last year or top horses last year and prime prospects this year. So that's a graphic that guys can talk about and chat about and, kind of promote what's going to come up.
So you're actually the one doing all that legwork. You're the one putting all those nuts and bolts together.
Yes, I cobble the basic format together, send it to Marjorie Roman, and she's amazing, and the people in TV are amazing, and she puts that actual format together.
Okay.
And then they, I guess, race night, they come up with the suggested roll-ins. I tell them the race roll-ins, the graphics, they have to type those in, and so on. So that she puts that together, and Big MTV actually pulls it all off, that pregame show.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it. Once I've done do Tuesday on Tuesday, I do Friday, Saturday I do Wednesday, or Wednesday I do Saturday, and then I'm done until I get to the track on Friday night.
Okay.
And on Friday night I get the programs, and I work up the programs, as they say. I get the proof, I submit the information in there, the driver choices. I color up the program, color code it, any last minute things. The promos I've got to read when I come on at night to set the night up, and that's pretty much it. Then there's that last minute sort of, the program's now on the podium, and they're getting ready to go behind the gate, and I do, why are they betting this 2-horse here? Why is he 4-5? And he's
Right.
You're going through your last minute things, and then you just react. That's where I stop thinking. I don't think anymore. And I get familiar with how certain horses and certain drivers are, just when you think they're going to do what you thought they were going to do, they don't do what they don't do it. So you can never be sort of, you can't dictate what's going to happen.
Right.
You have to react to what's going to happen.
Right.
And you can sound surprised. It's okay. You're human, you just as the, thousands that are watching the race are surprised
Right.
at what you're watching. Like, can you believe this? That sort of thing. It happens. Some things are predictable, and some things aren't, but you just have to react. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of the whole thing. And then you use your own, through your experience, your own built-in passion and enthusiasm, kind of, you rely on that. That's going to come. You don't have to think about that. That's going to rise to the surface as the race progresses.
Right.
Sometimes I wish I could come up with better descriptives instead of using maybe the same ones all the time. But sometimes it's surprising what you say when you don't think about what you're going to say.
Right.
And I surprise myself sometimes. What did I say that? Wow, and you it's like going on a trapeze without a net,
Right.
But you're also, I hate to say this and I don't like to dwell on it, but it's live. And you're prone, you can make mistakes. They're going to come once in a while. You just hope that it's nice and clear and it's clean and there's clarity and it's descriptive, and you don't take away, you do justice to it. You don't take away from what's happening. It's not about you. It's about the stars on the track, of course. And you just hope that you didn't, you brought the excitement to the forefront, but you didn't take anything away from the race by screaming and yelling and being an idiot.
Right. Gotcha. Oh, that is very clear and very interesting. So it's funny you say that about the descriptors and stuff, because I would imagine that was part of what I was going to ask you is so I noticed you have a lot of voice training on your resume. So you've actually done a lot of voice and character voice training. So how, to you, what is the weighing that goes on in your mind between the sound of your voice and the way that you deliver the information versus the information itself, like the verbs and the adverbs and the adjectives that you're using? Is it, I imagine you're trying to balance both, but they're kind of like two very different aspects, equally important. How does that work together? Or you know what I mean?
Well, you came up with the key word, balance. It's all about control. You can't lose control. You have to maintain a good breathing is important, it's almost like you have a bellows. You know what a bellows is? It's the thing that fans a fireplace flame. That mechanism. So you breathe from the diaphragm, not the chest. You breathe from the diaphragm, and the airflow has to be it has to be smooth and regulated. And again, just when you want to be excited, and people down on the rail are screaming and waving their programs and their tickets, and I've got the 2-4, come on, and you can't be that excited, but you can be excited, but you have to control the excitement. It's all about control, and your breathing. And if you get a little too excited, that voice that you hear is going to get a little cracked and a little too hoarse and a little too distracting, and it's going to take away from the race. So that's a very important thing, is to breathe and maintain controlled excitement throughout the race, and tie it with a bow at the end. And that's really what it's all about. Again, I hate to say this, but I don't do a lot of thinking per se. There's some strange things that go through your head during a race. Like they're at the, sometimes if it's a single file 6-horse field going past the half, of non-winners of 2 or, a lower level race, you might think, well, I got the groceries tomorrow and I've got laundry. It's funny. That's how the mind sometimes tells you to say certain things. And sometimes you say certain things that the mind told you not to say. And after years and years and, what 250,000 races, you have to kind of pull back and start from scratch almost sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there's some times on a Friday night, for instance, the first couple races on a Friday. Okay, I haven't worked for a week. I haven't done this for a week. Do I remember how to do it? I think oh yes, okay. And then once they're off, I try not to think about that. So you can fall in all these little rabbit holes, but as soon as they go into the first turn, okay, I think I got this now.
Right. It kicks back in. Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't try to hit the accelerator in the first couple races. You try to build, and you build until the feature, the preferred pace, which may be the 10th or 11th race. So you can't go crazy the first few. You have to maintain a certain level of consistency. Yeah. And obviously you build more excitement when there's a bigger race, a stakes race, and Hambletonian Day, that's a whole and Meadowlands Pace Night is a whole different character. It's a whole different beast altogether. That is just, it's an outer body experience. It's like Hambletonian Day is like standing in a sauna for 8 hours and trying to survive. Chugging Gatorade. That's what it's just unbelievable. And just when you think you can take a breather, the next race isn't so important. No, it is important. Pay attention.
Right.
You have to bear down. And again, back to what I originally said, maintain some control.
Right. Yeah. So. That's what a beautiful illustration. And you have knocked up literally every question I had for you has been covered.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's fabulous. It's fabulous.
Typical Canadian. I apologize. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. As a Canadian, I'm also sorry.
I mean to be nice. I'm nice.
No, that's fabulous. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The Hambletonian must be, first of all, I love what you say about the control, because that is something that, I particularly love in your race calls, is that you have this, first of all, you're right. Your surprise is genuine when you can tell that you're emoting genuinely. So I can tell when you're genuinely surprised. And I have to imagine that you probably get to that place of giving yourself permission to be genuine. I imagine you don't get that right away when you start, right? That's right. That comes with the experience. Yeah.
When you begin, you're more mechanical and sticking to the, and when you took some acting classes, and even with the voiceover classes, you need to sound natural and believable. Not like the announcer, not like the Super Bowl PA guy,
right.
Touchdown, you have to sound like you really, really like this product. This product is fantastic.
Right.
You really need to try it, and that doesn't mean I'm going to scream at you, scream in your face to tell you to drink this. You have to be yourself. You really have to be yourself. That's one of the things I forgot to tell you. And sound believable, and allow yourself to be yourself.
Very interesting.
If you can figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
And when you relax, you come up with better things. If you're in a frenzy, you lose it. You forget things. You wanted to say something that you didn't say, and but when you're relaxed and in control, that's when you can pull the bullets out of your arsenal and fire them.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Yeah. That's just an excellent overview.
Just relax.
Yeah, just relax.
Be yourself.
Some little pernickety things that I'm just curious about. So do you watch the race through binoculars, or do you call off the TV, or what do you do?
No, I'm old school. I've always done it with binoculars, and I have to see what drivers are doing, what the horse looks like. I have to watch what's going on. I mean, if we have some fog condition, bad weather conditions, I might revert to the monitor next to me, but I'd have to look at them. I don't look at a monitor. If I do look at a monitor, it's got either the Leafs on, or the Devils, or the Rangers. We watch hockey. We watch sports between races, in the intermissions, as they say. But no, I do. Even though it's a mile track, I have good cone binoculars that are pretty strong. And thankfully, you know, I'm 62, the eyes are still pretty good. Actually, I have an eye test next Monday, so we'll see. But the eyesight's still pretty good. You know, the reaction, and sometimes the photo finishes are not going to be, I'm not going to call a really tight photo finish. I gave up that years ago, even when I could see really good. Because I think that it's important not to, first of all, you don't want to get it wrong. You don't want to guess it wrong, and you don't want to, you know, peeve off the public if you do get it wrong. And it's okay to build the excitement. Hey, it's a photo finish. Hang on here. Wait, it's not over yet. You know, so hold your tickets and see what happens. So
that's what the equipment's for.
Yeah, we're up there processing the racing.
Right.
You know, there's me. There are camera people, as you know, and charters and judges and photo finish and timer guys. You know, we're all working together to process that racing and to make sure it's done right.
Right. Okay. How often do you look at your program thread race? Like 5 times, 10 times, 15
maybe
times?
5 between. Yeah, I'll look at it a lot just to make, you know, it's an open book test.
Okay.
You know, it's right in front of me. I just want to make sure, you know, but for the most part, when they turn for home, I have to look away to the 3/4 time and then look back. That's the only unfortunate thing about the mile track there, and the way things are configured. We were supposed to get a monitor like right there so I could see the 3/4 time, but it's just a half a second to look away at the 3/4 time. I could look at it on the monitor, but I don't look at the monitor.
Right. Gotcha.
That's just a habit. You get into habits, you know. So again, it's an open book test, you know, and sometimes I write things down like track records, stakes records, and world records. So I write track, stakes, world record. I write that at the top of the program for those big races, so I can pull that out of the fire if that comes up. And sometimes I have certain things I might want to say, like, it's Yannick Gingras' 8,000th win.
Right.
You know, don't forget that. So you write that down, and it's right in front of you, you know, in bold type and so on. So
right.
It's okay to write things down and look at them.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It's a natural thing, you know.
So is it fair to say those horses' names, those 9 or 10 horses' names, are sort of in your DNA for that race? Like, are they in your brain, or are you still looking at that page to get a sense of what their names are? I know you know who all the drivers are, obviously, to glance at them, but in terms of this is probably so automatic for you, you probably have to think about it to answer it. Like, during the course of that race, are you relying on the program to tell you, or do you remember that Corey Callahan is driving that particular horse?
Well, they do, as you know, they can switch from week to week, you know, and certain drivers will make a surprising choice. The driver choices, sometimes it's very competitive, as you know.
Yeah.
We have, you know, great driver colony down here. Dexter Dunn's listed on 5 on the proof, and he took the 2. Okay, well, maybe it was loyalty, or maybe it was that's the horse he thinks has the best chance of winning. Yeah. But he hasn't driven that horse in a while. But he's driven the horse he chose off. He drove that horse every week for the last 6 weeks. So you'd associate, you know, so that's why, you know, but that will stand out to me, you know, that he picked that horse. Right. So that'll stick really quick. Okay. So by the time they get to the quarter, I pretty much got them.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got them before that, but I want to make sure. And again, it's in front of me. I can always, I'm not quite sure. Could you hold on a minute? Oh, wait, the race is going.
Right.
Let's stop the race. So I can go and look. Okay, yes, he's driving that one. Continuing. So that's why it's in front of me. You know, I mean, that's why it's right in front of me.
Right.
You know, and it's okay to make a reference to that. And the racing styles of each horse. Why is he on the lead tonight? Why is the 4 to 5 shot sitting 8th right now? Oh, that's right. There's the conditions tonight are favoring closers so far.
Right.
That can change in the middle of the night.
Right.
It can change, you know, but then they're going too fast in this one, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of dynamics. There's a lot going on in there,
Man, your brain must just be like, if you could like chart how many different things are going on in your brain over the course of a race, and then your brain must just like, in your brain, it must be like, okay, I'm finished with this. I just dump this now.
Yeah.
I dump this and put this new race 2 in. And then after that, yeah.
Big time. There's a lot of dumpage. There's a lot of I don't ask me who won the 5th after, a race card, some certain things will stand out, but most of it is,
right.
Focused, laser focused, and then it's gone.
Right. Yeah.
That's
it. Interesting.
Yeah. But you do keep in mind that how the races have been going so far tonight. We have a strong headwind. We have a strong tailwind. It's cold out. It's sloppy. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, because you're eventually going to. Sometimes you'll be tying some of that stuff together to present a full picture of sort of the whole story of the night. Right.
Yeah,
so there'll be.
You're describing what's going on, and you're handicapping as you go along. So, I do handicap the races and provide a commentary right after the post parade. And I will say something like, well, let's look at this. This horse is 4 to 5 right now. So the tote board's speaking loud and clear, isn't it, Mr. Brower? And then, it goes down to them, and they, they speak and give their impressions.
Right. Oh, very interesting.
You're handicapping as you go along, even during the race, you're saying, you're descriptive, but you can only say so much too. That's another thing. You can't convolute a race call with too much stuff. At the end of the day, they want to know where their horses are, clear, concise, and then shut up.
That's great. Right. No, that's great. That's great. I was going to originally ask you, but you already covered it quite beautifully with the grocery list analogy of, what is tougher in terms of the flow. Is it tougher to call some like really amazing, exciting finish, or is it tougher to call, as you said, single file going down the backside, not much happening? That presents probably more of a challenge.
Yes, and we've had like the non-wagering races, the New Jersey Sire Stakes, some of the non-betting races, and we had a one horse walkover last year, and a couple of 2-horse races, and a 3-horse race. I mean, they're non-betting races before the races, but they're races for purse. Those are tough. So I kind of I come up with some breeding information and so on, and it's 2 legs in a final, so it's 3 weeks in a row you're going to see this. And that gets a little tedious, but it has to be done. And those are the hardest ones, the shorter fields, and but sometimes they can surprise you. You just have to be ready just in case.
Yeah. Even those calls are important to someone, right? Yes. There's somebody out there that means a lot to hear Ken Warkentin call their horse, for sure.
Well,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's amazing. Thank you. You've covered all of my questions and more, and I thought I had a lot, so that's fabulous.
Well, Kelly, we do have the race calling class too, every year.
Oh, yes, right. Tell us a little bit about that.
Fantasy camp with Matt Zuccarello, who is an amateur driver. He helps me. He actually does most of the legwork along with Rachel Ryan in marketing. We just kind of put it out there, and I'm surprised every year we get 10 or 15 people that want to come and listen to me. I have a handout. I speak for about 30 minutes, and then they each get to call a baby race or a qualifier.
Cool.
And I'll stand behind them, or sometimes I just don't say anything, and some of them are pretty good. So
that's great. So how long have you been doing that for?
Oh, long time, since it was Ellen Harvey's idea. Way back in the early 90s, we started doing it. We've done, maybe more than a dozen of them. We did a couple of, back in the 90s, 3 for the harness and 3 for the thoroughbreds. We even did some for the thoroughbred meet in the fall, because we used to have that thoroughbred meet in the fall. It was 5-6 days a week. So it was. It's been a lot of fun. We raised money for the charity, the what is it? The Harness Horse Youth Foundation.
Great.
And it was the Don Macbeth Jockeys Fund for the disabled jockeys and so on. So, yeah, so that's been a lot of fun. And, I kind of go more in depth as to what it's all about, but it gets some interest.
Did it surprise you? Does it continue to surprise you that it draws so many people?
Yeah, in a way. Some of the people have gone on to get some jobs or get some work.
That's great.
Yeah. And then, might inspire them in their own, their own jobs and walks of life. It's just bits and pieces of voiceover classes and things that I've come up with over the years. And the script hasn't changed since the early 90s. So I hand it out and I just touch on some topics. Q&A back and forth, tell a few stories, and Tom Durkin did it a few times, I think. And again, Ellen Harvey was behind that. He did it a couple of times for the Thoroughbreds at Saratoga, I think, or wherever.
Yeah.
So
that's great. It's a great opportunity. Yeah. That would be very, very, very fun indeed. So the last thing I want to touch on, I have to know, so you touched on hockey. So you are a ref, right? You're a ref.
Yeah, right.
And do you ref the Scurvy Dogs? Is this the team that you ref? Or is that you play with the Scurvy Dogs?
Yeah, okay. I've played for them for about 10 years. Yeah, it's a beer league team. It's a it's the low level beer league team at the Ice House in Hackensack. It's a great bunch of guys. It's a long story. My wife, she knew the wife of a guy that played on the team. And at the time I wasn't playing. I've played beer league off and on. I played youth hockey. I played the college and all that stuff. And at the time I wasn't playing. And she said, "Would you be interested?" I said, "No, I'll give it a try." And and the rest is history. We play once a week, year round. Play right through the summer.
Wow.
And it's pretty much once a week. And just a great bunch of guys. And right now it's Wednesday nights. And I do referee. I get assignments reffing the league. That league when I don't play.
I see.
But I mostly am. I do anywhere from squirt, peewee, bantam, midget, JV. I don't do high school. That's another certification. But I'm a level 3. There are 4 levels, so I'm pretty busy. I mean, last year I reffed over 250 games.
Oh my goodness! Seriously, that's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Oh, it's nuts. On a Sunday, I'll do like anywhere from 6 to 7 games. My personal record is 8 on a Sunday, but it's slowing down right now. At this time of year, it's slowing down because the playoffs. I actually have 2 playoff games, which are hard. They're hard to get because they give them to the top guys. And and I have.
You're not a top guy.
Well, I'm a level 3 guy. I can handle most anything.
Okay.
So, except midgets are 16s. 16-year-olds.
Okay.
And that's pretty tough. They're fast and big. But I have 2 playoff games on Friday during the day. Actually in the morning. One's in the morning, 10, 15, and 12. So I'll do some games before I go to work.
Really? Wow.
I usually do a couple. Typical weekend will be I'll do a couple on Saturday morning, come home, take a nap, and go to the Meadowlands. And then on Sunday, I'll do like anywhere from 4, 5, or 6 games.
Wow.
Because they really need they're I'm not going to say they're desperate, but there's a severe shortage of referees.
Wow.
In New Jersey. Yeah.
Huh. That's great.
50% of the first years that I've had a couple of first years work. I get a mentor fee for that. So I've had a couple of kids I've worked with. So 50% of the first years don't come back the following year. They can't take it's tough sometimes. See coaches yelling at you and parents and so on.
Yeah, there would be a lot of people yelling at you from time to time.
They don't yell at me because I'll bang you and then I'll throw you out. That's it. There's zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. It's in the book. It's in the book now. So
this is a new side of you I've never seen. I think this will surprise people.
When you get on the ice, you put on your ref hat, and you really, one of the best lessons I got when I started was, you really have to, be authoritative and take charge and manage the game. Even if you think you were wrong, you have to look like you're,
Right.
decisive. You have to be decisive, pretty
Control
decisive.
Control it, right?
Yeah, it's all about control.
Yeah.
So, and third, so I said 50% of the first years don't come back, and 33% of the guys that do it on a regular basis don't come back. And I think the number was like over 400 referees in New Jersey did not come back after COVID. And I played some of the guinea pig games where COVID was just coming out. We were just coming out of COVID there. And they had, I call them the rebel or the renegade games. They had these games where they had health officials watching and so on and so forth. And yeah, so who knows?
Wow.
I mean, I was tested every week, and we didn't wear masks, and kids are breathing on you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then it slowly came back. And then it was, I think it was December of that year, they shut it down for 1 month. December, because of Christmas and so on. But then they came back with a vengeance, and a lot of guys didn't come back. A lot of guys my age, and their experience, they need referees.
Yeah.
But that's just more for me.
That's right.
More games for me. It's a great side hustle. It really is. They pay you to exercise.
It sounds like you really enjoy it. So
I do.
Yeah.
I have to tell you this story. Like, the year that today is the fifth year anniversary of Sam McKee's death. Okay.
Oh, today,
March the 8th, 2017, 5 years, right?
Wow.
And later that year, I was walking around the house, probably had nothing to do. And my wife said, "Have you ever thought of refereeing?" And I said, "No, I never gave it a thought." So where did this come from? My wife just kind of out of the blue, and I said, "Well, I'll look into it." And I went online, USA Hockey, and I thought, there's just too many hoops to jump through. The background checks, the sensitivity training, all that stuff. So I went to the seminar. I did everything. I went to the seminar. 150 people in the room, and the average age is 12. They're kids. I was the only man in the room. So my wife says to me, "How was it?" And I said, "It was inappropriate." So, but I gave it a shot. I gave it a shot. I did a couple games. I enjoyed it. And, maybe 1,000 games later, and back to what I I think that was something that, I like to think it was something that Sam went, he's gone, but he gave something, something came of it. Mysteriously came, you can't tell me that, and it's something I really enjoy doing on the side. And because I have a passion for the game. I love I just love the action and the pressure. I like the pressure.
Yeah.
And I think that Sam had something to do with that.
Yeah.
That happening, back then. And here we are, 5-6 years later, still going,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been fun.
That's great.
Fun. It's a fun sidelight. I think it's part of, you've got to balance your life out. You can't be just racing all the time. You got to be doing some, I enjoy golfing. I can't wait to get back out on the, when the weather warms up a little more, golfing, just doing different things, not just racing all the time.
Yes. I think that's very sage advice for everyone. That's for sure. Yes.
Balance and control.
Yeah. Balance and control. Agreed. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Ken. This has just been fabulous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And
I appreciate your interest, and best of luck. I must admit, I haven't seen BarnCat trivia yet, but I'm gonna. That's okay.
I'll send you a link you can play if you like.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's on Sundays at 7. You should do pretty well, theoretically. Theoretically, you should do pretty well.
Sounds like fun.
It is indeed. All right. Thanks a lot, Ken.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.